All right, so what does the body do? How does it defend itself from these nasty pathogens that can cause infection? The first line of defense, and there are three. The first line of defense are to have barriers. Skin that has the ability to produce oil and sweat that can be destructive to pathogens, and just a physical barrier between pathogens and your blood and everything inside your body. So skin has a really important role in preventing disease as a barrier in that first line of defense. Another line of in the first line of defense, another barrier can be the stomach acid. If you eat something, it eventually starts to be broken down in a lot of ways, in your saliva, in your stomach, and sometimes that stomach acid, such as hydrochloric acid in your stomach, can actually kill whatever's in there. So hydrochloric acid in your stomach can also be a good barrier to prevent disease and be a barrier. Another barrier that can prevent an infectious disease caused by pathogens is the mucus that lines your airway and even your lungs. And the cilia, those little tiny protrusions of hair that could prevent bad things and bad pathogens from getting into your airway and causing a disease. I thought one cool thing to know about snot, which is kind of gross to think about, is the color. The color indicates a lot of what's going on in your body. If your snot is clear, it means you're normal. You're good. It's just your nasal tissues producing it 24/7, and there's no sign of infection. White means you're starting to get congested. Swollen, inflamed tissues in your nose are slowing the flow of mucus, causing you to lose moisture and become thick and cloudy. Yellow means that you have an infection that is progressing. It's a sign of some kind of microbial or bacterial infection in your body. Green means you're really fighting it. You are really fighting something bad here, and it might be time to see a doctor. Pink or red is just a sign of blood that's present. Brown, again, could be blood. It could be that you're just in a dusty bin, or like you're working with a bunch of corn with farmers, and it just gets in your snot and you blow it out, and then it's all brown and stuff like that. And then black is quite serious if you're not a smoker or user of illegal drugs, which none of you should be. It could be a serious fungal infection, apparently. Glad to never have had black snot before. Alright, back on the not so gross path here. The second line of defense that your immune system tries to employ is the inflammatory response. I want you to know that this inflammatory response is still general. It's like your body recognizes something is wrong. Something is causing harm inside the body. It's not sure what yet. So it's going to just respond generally and try to kill whatever pathogen is causing this change that is recognized. So this is a general. It's not targeted. It's not specific yet. That's the next line of defense. For the inflammatory response, there's a few things that happen. One is that there's a lot of blood flow to the area that where there is harm that is recognized. So more blood flow, so that means inflammation. That means more, if you've ever had like a swollen ankle after spraining it, it's really just a rush of blood that is a response to that injury. What the blood brings with it is a lot of white blood cells. So with this inflammatory response, you have a rush of blood, and with it, white blood cells that do an awesome job of killing whatever's there and causing harm. Okay, so a bunch of white fighter blood cells get there and try to combat the disease. The third thing that happens generally is that you get a fever. It's not pleasant, it's not comfortable to get a fever, but it is a body response to something that is causing an infection. Here's what works about a fever. It makes you feel terrible, so you feel like taking aspirin or ibuprofen to get rid of it. Sometimes the fever actually does a great thing for you. A lot of bacteria and other organisms, pathogens, do really well at your normal body temperature. But if you have a fever and your body temperature goes up, that response right there can kill a lot of those unwanted pathogens that are causing an infection. So there's a reason that your body, why you get a fever when you're sick. It's just trying to kill that thing that got in there. Okay, so that, again, that second line of defense is a very general inflammatory response. The third line of defense is the immune response. This is specific. This is different than the inflammatory response. This is when cells recognize exactly what that pathogen is. If you think of the second line of defense, the inflammatory response, as like a general army going in, not really caring what's there, they're just going to blow through it. That's what that second line of defense is. The immune response is like a sniper. They recognize their target and they get right to that target. Okay, here's how it happens. First, you have to recognize an antigen. Most pathogens will have something that T cells, those white blood cells, can recognize. The antigen is like a uniform that you can recognize. Okay, so these lymphocytes or white blood cells eventually recognize this virus or this bacterial cell that's causing the infection by that antigen. Okay, at that point, the response is this. You can either produce T cells, shown by Mr. T here with all of his chains and muscles. The T cells go in and by the millions are targeting that specific antigen. They see that antigen and let's go in, let's take them out, let's engulf them and get them out of the body. The other response is to make B cells. Instead of T cells, they make B cells. These B cells are like memory cells. They remember what exactly that antigen is that they can recognize the pathogen by, and then they produce a protein. That protein is called an antibody. So B cells will then make antibodies, like these things right here, that work to identify this antigen on this virus or on this bacteria cell or this pathogen. And once those antibodies mark the enemy, they're done. Okay, if your body can produce antibodies, you've got immunity. You are going to take that thing out and you're going to win. Here's a video that shows a killer T cell. So I mentioned the lymphocytes or the white blood cells either producing B cells or killer T cells. So like these Mr. T. Hi Greta, I'm just showing people how killer T cells combat disease. In this case, the video shows a killer T cell attacking a cancer cell. And it's pretty short, so I'll let this play.
The green cell you see here is a killer T cell of the immune system which is attacking the cancerous red and blue cell. You can tell when the killer cell has recognized the cancer cell because the two dots move around and contact the target. The killer cell then spreads out over the cancerous cell. Passing the video through a filter makes the killer cell look yellow and allows us to really see how it focuses on the cancer cell. These killer T cells are constantly hunting down dangerous cells throughout the body and destroying them.
That's it for this part of the video. The next part of this infectious disease and how we combat it is going to be about how prevention works. And we started learning a little bit about it with antibodies. So that's next.